What's going on, everybody? It's Hossy89. I just wanted to share with you guys my Kashtira deck profile. I got a top 4 at the PS5 tournament in Anime Attic in Florence, South Carolina. Shout out Anime Attic. Actually, they really looked out. There was a PS5 was first place, and then top 8 actually got cash prizes. So I got some money out of it. So we're living good. It was a 5-round Swiss and then top cut. I actually lost in top 4 to Runic Naturia. The guy Houston, he ended up winning the whole thing. So shout out to him too. So I went X1 in Swiss and I lost to Live Twin Sprite. He also actually got top 4 as well. So yeah, it was a pretty cool event. A lot of meta decks actually. So this was a really good test to see how well this deck performed and to see how well I felt with the deck. And I was actually really comfortable. There were some little bricky inconsistency issues, but I think that's the worst part about the deck. You don't really have a bad matchup against too many decks. It's mainly just losing to yourself. But yeah, man, let's just get right into it. Alright, so we got 3 Fenrir, 3 Unicorn. That's pretty standard. You always want to see these guys in your hand. They're pretty much like one of the best cards, right? We're going to do 1 Rise Heart, 1 Ogre, 1 Scareclaw Cash. These 2 are pretty standard. The 1 Rise Heart, I didn't feel like I needed to, and it kind of worked, actually, because we just go for a Rise Heart pass. You don't really want to see too many monsters. You want to see more protection cards and more interactive cards with your opponent. And if you can get the Unicorn, you can get the Fenrir, you can probably search this out anyway. So that's 9 monsters, 9 cash monsters, and then we're playing 3 Field Spell plus Terraforming, the 3 Theosis, and the 3 Birth. Of course, I would love to cut this down, but I can't. Like, it's just too good. Like, you need to see it. You just hate seeing multiple, I guess you would say. We're playing 1 and 1. Realistically, it's not too bad seeing these going first. You'd rather see something else, but it's not the end of the world. So that's why I play both of them. And most of the time, I'm going to search preparations out with Ogre if I go first. And Big Bang's actually a really good last resort card because it's almost like an evenly. So that's all my cash monsters. Then we're playing 3 Ash Blossom. It just kind of says no to Branded, and it hits a little bit of something. Like every deck can get ashed. And it can get ashed, maybe not significantly, but enough to do a little bit of something, enough to create a little bit of disruption. Then for here, we're going to play 3 Prospe and 2 Desires. I would say I didn't really have any bad matchups, but the worst thing for this deck was the inconsistency, right? Like, every time I bricked, I just lost. That being said, every time I saw Desires in my hand, I won that game. Desires was really strong for me. If I ever saw Desires and Prosperity, you just activate Desires, and if they ash it, which most, smart players will do because draw 2 cards is not fair. If they were to ash it, you just activate the Prosperity. And realistically, with this deck, it does brick, but drawing 2 free cards from your deck, you're gonna get something. And even if you banish a certain card that you didn't want to banish, a Rise Heart can grab that back. So that's why I think this card is actually pretty good. Now we're going to play 3 Lance. 3 Lance is, it's kind of necessary right now. I wish it could be something else, but this card is just so strong, especially with the 800 attacks. You can do something in damage step. It's really strong. We're going to do 3 Book, 6 books, right? Book of Moon was great. Both of these were great going first. Going second into Link decks, I think this deck has a little bit of an issue, right? Because you can't face down any Link monsters. So if you're playing Mathmech, or if you're playing Marin Incest, it can be a little bit of an issue. That being said, if I were to change anything in this deck, I'd probably take out the Eclipse and put in 3 Kaijus. But going first, like I said, these cards are amazing. And we just play 2 Evenlies for going second, trying to break some boards, bait some stuff out. Evenly is pretty good. It's pretty strong. Then we go into the extra deck. We got 2 Arise Heart, 2 Shangri-Ira, 2 Big Eye, and 2 Zeus. Realistically, I want to play 3 Arise Heart, so I might just take out a Zeus and put in the 3rd Arise Heart. Or maybe take out a Big Eye and put in the 3rd Arise Heart. But this kind of worked for me. I didn't make Zeus at all. I made Big Eye, I think, once or twice. But, yeah, this is pretty good. This card overperformed for me. This is probably one of my favorite cards in the extra deck. The Dark Arm Dragon is just so good for baiting things out. It's so good for popping cards. And then let's say if you have a Theosis in your graveyard, you activate his effect and banish the Theosis and add something back. So he's really strong. Mind Hacker. If I ever made him, I think I made him twice, and both times was just to bait because I know people are afraid of this card for whatever reason. I mean, I guess banishing off the top of your deck, nobody wants to do that. So I know people would always try to interrupt this effect. So I would always do it for bait and then just use Birth to actually go into my real plays. Then we got the Flare for Time, Barone. Barone is actually really, really good, and I didn't realize how strong this card was. I was really afraid of playing into Lava Golem or into Sphere mode or something like that, but the Barone was actually so strong. Like, I didn't get Lava Golem at all, and every time I made this, I actually won the game. So we're playing Goliath, Gorura, and Blackluster Soldier. This could be changed out for something. I just like this for, you know, simplified game states. You drop this and most people can't get over it. Alright, now if we go into our side deck, we're playing 3 Bell, 3 Shifter. They almost do the same thing, right? Like, this is like a turn skip for a lot of graveyard decks, and then this just kind of helps for... This kind of just helps to push that, right? Bell is actually really strong, because, you know, I played Mathmech, I played Marin Incest, I played Interior Runic, so those are all cards that... I mean, those are all decks that lose to this card. 3 Cyclone, 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Duster. You know, these are for trap. Well, this is for trap tricks, Labyrinth. This could be for whatever. I played 3 Cyclones reluctantly, but I was afraid of Anti-Spell Fragrance because we kind of just lose to that deck, and you do need a quick play, right? So maybe this or Twin Twisters. But like I said, because our deck is bricky at times, you kind of need all those cards in your hand. So Cyclone actually worked really well for me. And then for our traps, we just played the 3rd evenly and 3 D-Barrier. D-Barrier is really strong. If you wanted to take out the D-Barrier, I'd probably take these out and put in Solemn Judgment, because these are just going first cards, but I think D-Barrier hits a little bit more. So yeah, man, that's the deck. Just make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what y'all are going to take to the YCS 250th.